Dire team ban. Navi's turn to ban. Dire team ban. Dire team pick. Navi's turn to pick.
Juggernaut. Treant Protector.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Right. And girls to game number 2 coming at you. Vega Squadron, Navi, best of 3. Game number 2, Navi up 1-0 here. Elimination match. The winner moves on to the playoffs. The loser is done here in the Summit 7 European qualifiers. Find out if we're going to a game 3 or not. Again, Navi up 1-0. I'm Bricky CPK, joined by Z-Rock here. Wait, I have to double check. Is this a replay? Live game here. Deja vu, though, because same things. There we go. There's a little bit of difference.
Navi's turn to ban.
All right.
Just had to confuse you a little bit, you know?
Ban.
Make you wonder. I'm really glad Navi keeps first banning this Terror Blade. Vega is one of like 3 teams I think that should be picking it pretty much every game. It's like them, OG, well, maybe just those 2. But anyway, it is first banned out, so putting Vega kind of in a spot where they can't fall back on comfort picks, and just the same bans on a Navi, all of them here. And we see Vega mixing it up here, getting rid of the Coddle and the Clockwork, saying, try something new, Navi. What do you got?
Well, you're gonna have to try something new indeed, and they got full dimensions to them.
10 seconds
Bans are gonna force them to, as you're getting at now. Storm Spirit again was kind of the key last game. We stressed it was such a smart final pick, to be fair, because of the lineup of Vega Squadron and across the board they clearly were lacking crowd part. They do get Disruptor now. He brings a little bit more, you could argue, but it's not like okay, they can't pick Storm Spirit now. So it couldn't be just they definitely need something else to go.
Dire team pick.
At least
yeah.
Warlock will
any stun at this point, though, because what Disruptor does is gives you an ability that guarantees you can get something off on the Storm. And so if you pick a stun after that, Spirit Breaker works just fine. Then you can static into stunning him, and from there on out, it's not nearly as bad. Disruptor's kind of the enabler, because like if they would have had that last game, then it's a lot easier to drop Chaotic Offerings on him or Tusk Punch him, or any of the CC options they did have available.
10 seconds remaining.
So Vega with the SP Darkseer, they're gonna run at you.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying. V definitely has the work cut out for them here. It's
Reserve time.
definitely a stressful combination to go up against. I mean, having the Shatter Word will be nice a little bit there, but that Iron Shell with the Spirit Breaker running at you, getting some bash procs even thrown in there, it's bound to be a tough time for Navi. So
yeah,
respond to that.
Well, all right, so you know Vega's going to be playing hyper-aggressive at the level 3 to 5 mark on their offlane. Vega also has a nice little 3-man opening here as far as a recovery potential. If they're behind, the chance for hitting a vac wall into a kinetic field static storm is there, and that'll turn a fight unless you're down like 20,000 gold. So if you're Navi, you want to be looking for greedy, but safe heroes. So the Storm could still be an option. I could see a TA being an option for them as well here. The Ion Shell does indeed just destroy Refraction, but it's a hero that once you have Blink, you can be relatively safe. The Puck, definitely a very strong potential here out of Navi. And it kind of pairs well with the Warlock tree. It's just a question of, are you too all in on Teamfight if you go that way? Because you've already got Overgrowth, you already have Chaotic Offering. Teamfights are kind of your bag right now. And even though Vega's teamfight lineup looks pretty good, you can't fight into bonds. Like, you just can't. Every team that's tried has lost, and every team that's just either avoided team fights or made them very chaotic in multiple front, has just picked the Warlock apart. So the Nyx is good here, especially if they want to go an Invoker. We've seen the power of the Nyx Invoker combo and setting up Sunstrikes and just applying a ton of damage. Most notably, it was one of the China games last night I was watching as I was going to bed. They ran a Nyx Sand King with an Invoker in mid, and it demolished. They got a level 1 first blood off the back of Burrow into Impale into Sunstrike. So if I'm Vega, that's what this draft is screaming out to me. It's not necessarily like a signature Dendi hero, but come on, when you've played Pro Dota since the beginning, I feel like you have to have picked up Invoker.
I would hope Dendi's at least has the potential.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, as you said, definitely one of the been around forever.
Reserve time.
Assume that his hero pool pretty much.
Dire team ban.
It's actually the only hero in his top 20 with a negative win rate. Period. So we'll have to see. Yeah, his win rates are monstrous. It's like 60% on anything he's got 60 games on or more, except Invoker. So we'll have to see. Vega picking up the Slark here. This does a couple things for them. It gives them a very nice way to take these fights very late game. You just trade constantly, you get a bunch of Essence Shift stacks, and then you're just this beast running around. And it provides a buff target, so they could also look to an Invoker themselves. Between Pounce and Spirit Breaker Charge, you've got a couple ways to get that off. But I like something like a Puck out of Vega more, actually, than even on Na'Vi. It rounds out their draft nicely, because they're not as cooldown reliant. You've got Glimpse to pull people back. Static Storm works super well with Coil, like maybe even better than with Kinetic Field, because if they're stunned under a Static Storm, it's even better than being Kinetic Fielded. So
10 seconds remaining.
Well, we'll have to see what they want to go here. Lena's still an option that's in the pool. That's been picked a lot with mixed success. I'm assuming you were sleeping already. You didn't see the Lena with the MKB yesterday, did you? Yeah, Lena went like a pure right-click build and destroyed her axe in like 3 seconds. It was filthy.
Chinese Dota?
I believe so. I think it was LG. I think it was Vici against LGD, maybe. But yeah, I was half asleep. So we do see a TA ban here on a Na'Vi, not wanting to give that back to Vega, thinking it was a problem in the early game. The OD ban, I see the idea behind it, but I feel like your team already handled it pretty well. But just doesn't want to play against an OD. That's fair. That's kind of what you get to do on the 5th ban. One part of it is if OD gets desperate and just slams an ult, it can actually break Vega's team if it does like no damage. If you burn out, because it's a huge mana burn if it doesn't hit a damage threshold, and if you're burning out Darkseer, Disruptor, and Slark's mana pool, they become so much less effective.
Dragon Knight.
Oh no. DK's back.
Turn to pick.
I saw hints of this. I saw it a lot yesterday. NA ran it twice, China ran it twice. Just a super tanky hero that actually has tower sieging ability. So it gives them a safe option in the mid lane, something that can stand up to the tree. And are we going to see Dendi Timber?
Huh.
That's a relatively new one, actually.
Unless it goes Warlock. That was an interesting finish. Dragon Knight into Timber.
Yeah, Timber does fare very well into the DK matchup. Neither of them should die, like, ever. They both have a ton of armor, which means the massive damage out of tree right clicks are going to do way less. Spirit Breaker's ganks aren't going to do much. So after, like, level 3, it's going to be extremely hard to bring either of these mid laners down. And they're just going to have this little farming, fighting, do-nothing war in middle. Right up until about the point Dendi hits 5 or 6. And that's the point it tips heavily in Timber's favor. Once you get up the Chakram, then all of a sudden you have the chance to catch and just do this insane amount of burst damage.
Get a fun finish there of the draft and setting up for an entertaining game number 2 here. Again, a 1-0 lead in favor of Na'Vi. close it out and move on to the playoff stage here, the Summit 7 qualifiers. Towers.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, guys, this is, this is the deciding series. Whoever wins this goes to playoffs. Navi with the 1-0 lead after getting 2-0'd by Vega in the first round of this tournament. So, kind of a fighting back up through the losers bracket style here. I mean, that happens even in a Swiss format. Yeah, and I believe it's going to be Empire versus the winner of this game. So if Navi does compete in this and move on, it's going to be the two CIS teams in a grudge match starting things off. And then Alliance versus their winner is going to be the follow-up series. And I love Swiss style. I really do. This group stage format, the way where the winners play the winners, losers play the losers, and then you have a decider game. The fact that we get to see something like this kind of storyline in a group stage is just awesome. You know, Vega coming out with a strong 2-0 to start it off, and then Navi grinding their way back through. These are the kind of stories I like in these tournaments.
Well, it's essentially, well, so this isn't Swiss, technically. This is GSL format.
It's four-man Swiss. If it was GSL, you'd just play everyone in your group, and then they'd seed you out of it. Sort of.
It's known as, it's basically like a mini bracket, it's a mini double eliminate, kind of like where Swiss is actually what we had at, yeah, and where it's you don't play everyone technically, just keep playing it, but you keep playing people that have your same. So I guess, yeah, in a sense, it to be fair.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Imaginary seedings that kind of, you know, set up for some teams to put them at a disadvantage earlier on. So.
Well, and since we're paused, we have some time to talk about this. And there's merits and downsides to every single structure. In a perfect world, Swiss with a full 16-team roster is probably the most fair way to do it. But it gets to lead to some weird matchups, and some people don't like that. But CSGO's GSL seeding system, I think, is really solid, where they take their Legends teams, basically anyone that placed high enough in the last major, and those guys go into a pool where they're randomly drawn, and then they do tiered qualifiers. So basically the people that qualified in the first set of tiers are in one pool, and they draw out of those. And then the last chance tier are in their own pool, and they draw out of those, and those build your groups. And I think that's a better way to do it.
That's what the World Cup does, I'm pretty sure. Like that's what you know, these big traditional sports. Very similar to that kind of form. Well, so yeah, the idea of actually a drawing stage, like broadcasting a drawing stage, I feel like would be so fun, right? Like that would actually be really cool if one of these majors especially was to do something along.
That would be really cool to see. And the other thing I'd like to see if we ever got to that point of stability would be like, if teams actually got secure and had these big sponsor deals, and your livelihood is made more on like a franchise style versus a did you win this tournament style, I would love like a yearly draft season where you have a week where it's drafts open and all the unsigned players get announced and there's this big signing, and rather than the let's update Reddit furiously after every major. Wow, Slayer got it. Seema ended up getting the charge in. That was sick.
time right there. Yeah, no, that's the discussion we could definitely you know, save for another time and on a podcast show that I did.
Oh, do you want me as a repeat guest, man? I don't know.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody else about it. All right, back to this game though. We got game number 2 again. So Navi versus Vega. It's a top here even. It's a.
All right. Let's talk about the lane situation here. So we've got an aggro tri lane and a Navi. Benefit of aggro tries, you put a ton of pressure on Slark, who is an awful laner pre-6. And you stop their supports from roaming. This is going to keep the Spirit Breaker pinned in the top lane for most of the early game here, taking a lot of pressure off of potential roams down on Dendi. The trade-off on this is General is going to be stuck in the spot lane.
Wow. I hate myself right now.
Did you miss it?
See, technically I didn't because I literally caught it right as he flipped over dead. But I missed the important stuff yet.
Alright, so we'll give you the competitive breakdown right now. Slark didn't realize there was an Invis tree standing on top of him. Slark skilled up too early and took Essence Shift instead of Pounce at level 1 against the tri-lane. Slark fell over and died because he had no movement skill. Pretty much the entire extent of that engagement there.
Yeah, you're right. Going Essence Shift, I mean, obviously if he's just having a free farm lane, if this was going to be the Nyx assassin up here is probably expected, then that makes sense. But yeah, not sitting on that skill point, that's one of those small things that you could suggest. That's definitely big there.
Yeah, and it bites him bad here because now the Slark's got to get to 2 still, which he's going to do on this creep wave. But then he's probably going to have to take Pounce. And if you take Pounce, then you can't purge off the stun, you can't purge off Shadow Word. So he's going to be vulnerable here for another minute or 2.
Fortunate start to say the least for Vega Squadron, but obviously that's where Navi and their decision to go aggressive Prowling definitely pays off there. Yeah. Just go middle lane again. You talked about we got Timbersaw versus DK. Not often we're gonna say that, but Timbersaw perhaps has the advantage here.
It is a really interesting matchup at the Fury level. It is one of the most boring matchups in practice. Dendi's probably not even gonna get Timber Chains until like level 7, level 8. So we're gonna watch them just farm, and Dendi's gonna Q every now and then, G's gonna Q every now and then, and that's about it.
So keep the camera at the top lane, like I should have been doing from the beginning.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because bot lane shouldn't do anything either. Nyx is gonna get a point or 2 in Mana Burn, just Mana Burn the Darkseer over and over. Those 2 lanes should be entirely stagnant until like level 6. Does he have a glimpse?
Okay. We're gonna keep Bash Chance away from Tree and Protector, guys.
Yeah. And I like this item build here from Snako. He got a bunch of gold early on, and instead of getting boots, which would have let him run at stuff harder, he goes a Poor Man's. His armor is so bad that Poor Man's lets you take some hits without just losing all your HP on 3.
And after you see that on a tree right off the bat. That with the Orb of Venom now, so he's definitely quite the harasser here. So
He's not in a good spot right now, though.
That shield bolts him off, but if he's going to run into 3 heroes, I don't know if he's going to be able to survive through it. He's definitely going to be taking too much pressure, and he will go down. Darkback is picked up now by Slark here as he gets level 3 to help keep him alive and also kills in the end. But yeah, Tree Protector, as we're getting at, he's tanky and it's a good build. He probably felt a little too tanky.
Yeah, I think he thought he was invis when he was looking over at Spirit Breaker. Like, he was near the tree line for a while, but he moved slightly out, which reset the timer. And yeah, just got caught. What else is there to say?
Tournament events for him. Dendi, he sees the invis route top. He's going to come back mid and want to miss any CS, but he knows he's in position to pick that up when it is.
I will say General's playing this bot lane insanely well. Like, Darkseer should be 10 CS ahead by now. Is actually like 5 down. And it's strictly because of how well General's managing his mana pool, making sure he finds Darkseer and not letting Darkseer run up with Ion Shells. So it's going to be a nice little gold lead for Nyx that Navi probably wasn't expecting.
Well, Pycat, also know he's definitely hitting creeps like a boss here and showing off 23 and 5. Clark though, he's stepping up. He's 21 and 2. He did get a little bit of the jungle there, but solid. But yeah, see these rotations coming out. You got Spirit Breaker all the way to the bottom lane now. Speaking of that Nyx success, keep that in check. And top lane, Disruptor's going to port back in, but now it's a 3 versus 2 in favor of Navi. Now they're going for Snako. He's actually going to have TP out with his superpower damage, but he gets out, and no, he does not get out of time. What do I say? He got clipped back right there. And eventually killed off. So now Pycat actually on the run. Dark Pact going off right there. Did use that magic stick. It's not enough, though. He goes down. Warlock at least will escape, but... Well, that worked out beautifully for Vega.
Yeah, minor positioning mistakes from Snake are really costing him in this lane. Just, you can't play up under tower. That's just way too risky. He got pounced in tower range. Afterlife, though, in a bit of trouble. No boots yet. Oh, okay. Not going to be brave? Alright.
General wants to chase after him, though. He does have an impel.
Yeah, Navi's calling this lane lost. I mean, they're just going back to a defensive try. It's not about killing the Darkseer, it's about just getting Pycat farm again. They're calling the try lane done. They ended up getting General level 5, almost level 6. So pretty good time to call this lost if you're going to. He can go ahead and roam around with Vendetta very shortly. And that's going to be a potential kill on anybody except G. It's going to take like 4 heroes to kill G in the mid lane.
Dragon form activated. A DK is just simply using it to farm and harass with. Be careful with the Nyx Assassin being here now, though. But Timbersaw, level 3 reactive armor, so feeling too scared. For me to feel very far worst case.
Yeah, he did opt for 1 point in Timber Chain, which is not super common on mid Timbers, but wanted the mobility and the little bit of extra burst when he hits 6. So we'll give him a little more flexibility there at the cost of some Q damage. Top lane, top lane, top lane.
Watch Timbersaw actually, he's also in a lot of trouble right here. Stun comes out from TK, and Timbersaw will fall top lane.
Ooh, Nyx was Vendetta on top of Slark and wanted to go. Never actually pulled the trigger, but... So yeah, Dundee falling. I was busy staring at top. Was he not in, like, with any reactive stacks? How did he end up dying?
I don't even know. I feel like he did, but honestly, the Ripper just charged in, and then with a Portent from Disruptor as well, DK landed his stun after with the Tail Whip and the Dragon Tail even, and just simply did more than enough damage to him.
I like Tail Whip. Let's rename it.
Yeah. I knew it was Tail something.
Dundee's going home, boys.
Oh yeah, he just got glimpsed, didn't he?
Disaster.
Yep. See you back at base. That's gotta be careful when TPing in against the Disruptor. Back, and the Dragon Form activated again by the Dragonite right here. DK, gee, he's been doing fantastic. Not only till now, but 46-9 here. You, the Whirling Death.
Yeah, the real you does have a Midas in his quick buy right now, and if he does end up committing to that, that kind of tells you that Vega is perfectly content running this game as long as they can. They're in no hurry to go early. They don't feel like they need the Shadow Blade on Slark for the early pressure. So we'll have to see if he does commit to that. The one risk of that is if General gets a couple kills and gets ahead, real you is going to be food for him for a very, very long time.
See, right here, he doesn't know he's a bit of a trap situation. He has a surge, but he's pretty quickly bash. Yeah, he gets the bash off. It's only level 1, or it's level 2 actually.
That's a really long surge.
Not
Last tick.
Enough damage. Oh man, that was actually really close. 5? Well, you're right. That surge seemed like it lasted forever. Seconds even.
Yeah, it's long. And that's what you get by not going that early point in vacuum or that early point in the wall. You just get a lot more flexibility in it for yourself, where you really should never die. It'd take a pretty big misstep. Dundee on the roam, looking to go top lane, try to kill Silent here. I don't think he's gonna see him.
Yeah, they had the ward middle too to see him running up towards that way, if anything. Clearly a rotation and around the point. Timbersaw a little bit of time here on port. But General, again, he has Vendetta. He's almost using Timbersaw as bait here.
He needs to find a kill with this Vendetta. He got a ton of gold early game, has Arcanes in 1,000. He needs to get to the 2k mark and then decide when he wants to go. Whether it's going to be Blink or Force or Dagon or even a Midas. But he needs one kill somewhere. Oh, you can't quite get into those trees without being seen. If Dendy'd cut him, he could. Yeah, right.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
was gonna say, he cuts it, but at the same time, if you're Spirit Breaker, it's like, what? Are you doing that?
Well, you could just throw a Chakram like top right and say, did you juke up here? And, you know, oops, I missed. The smoke, though, from Silent might get popped from General here. He saw it, he just didn't quite get in range to pop it, so it was called out. We'll see if Navi be careful. English is hard in the morning.
Lane. Mark needed to be careful. Unfortunately, not careful enough. He gets taken out. Tag Storm not really doing the most though, because Kinetic Field was late from Silence. He glimpsed him back in, but that was just a desperate movement. Make up a little bit at least. Nice find by General there.
Exactly what he needs. Because, I mean, the Midas looks like it's going to come online around 12 to 13 minutes now. Which, if he didn't find that kill, you're looking at 16, 17. And that's really bad.
Darkseer continues to work through the jungle here. Radiant sign. Position to maybe set up a flank of sorts in the middle lane, but more concerned about farm right now. Down by Treant Protector though. Treant is level 6, did not get his overgrowth just yet. Currently.
Yeah, very, very interesting to totally skip overgrowth.
Huh. We got Juggernaut now moving to the middle lane though, so Navi wants to make a push to all he wants, but Navi slash. He's not gonna get it though, I don't think.
Nope.
Oh,
he got it!
Vision at the last second. Living armor's up just in case as well. He's gonna run away with the charge coming in. He tries to creep though.
Wow, that vision was so close.
There from Pine Cat middle lane, Dendi again the reactor. Up, so he's gonna be very tough to take down. We saw earlier. Able to burn through it.
Good choice.
Camera changes away and they'll forward. And he does have Treant Protector nearby, but again, Treant does not have overall. Okay, looks back in the connect, kills Static for a couple. This time will land it down goes Timber, so I can't do anything about that at that point. And Spirit Breaker looking to catch more. They're not caught initially with that stun, but now they want Treant Protector. And he's just simply gonna try to run away. That's
wow.
Living armor to use. Afterlife, meanwhile, feels some pain. The Chaos offering coming out, and actually Darkseer will get picked off. So they lose Treant. No, Treant Protector stays alive. Now he's assisting for more kills. As the Fatal Bond is running for nice damage. They take out Disruptor as well. Spirit Breaker going back in. Trying to maybe save DK if anything. And looks like he may end up doing that. DK's going in himself though. That's a very greedy move because now if he dies too, that's all for now from the Spirit Breaker. Gee, he is in trouble. Vendetta going in from General. They're going to find him.
Do they have the damage though? 21 armor.
Yeah, you're right. He is a little too tanked. So they're going to back it off, but still a successful fight for Navi.
Yeah, the DK is just borderline unkillable. If he turns Armlet on, he goes to almost 2,000 health and like 27 armor or something stupid. Their damage just is not there to kill him yet, and it's going to be a long time before that is. It's kind of the same situation as we saw with Dendi. It took 4 to kill Dendi, and it's going to take 4 to kill G.
Dendi, speaking of him, bottom lane here. Have Spirit Breaker and Darkseer nearby. Protector again, also here.
Dire's middle tower
Back to the
is
choice
under
again,
attack.
passing up that overgrowth. But doesn't have it. I'm sure at level 7 he's probably going to get it. I mean, especially with what happened the last one, like it would have been nice to have. About that, so.
Yeah, I mean, they're really posting up hard here looking for Dendi with this deep ward from the Vega side. But yeah, it's a little strange, especially when there's a Ion Shell on Dire's side, just to rip through the living armor. And Dark Pack, honestly. I mean, there's multiple ways just to strip the armor off. So to commit extra points in that instead of overgrowth's, I don't want to say questionable, but strange.
Lane, DK. And have his old dragon form here. He's going to have to run the mana burn, preventing that. Omnislash even coming out. Really want this kill. He's still very tanky. The armlet toggle. He's going to use it once again. The surge comes out. What a play by G to ultimately survive right there. And I know his hero in general is pretty bulky, but man, that was some good avoiding there eventually. So by the time for the support to come in, the glimpse back. No, the spin though from Juggernaut.
Oh, hit the Bond Screeps.
He's going to be
Hit the Bond Screeps.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're all.
It would have been a luck thing, like the armlet toggle would have had to come when you're hitting them, but the potential was there and you weren't gonna die.
Didn't know.
I said it was gonna take 4 to kill G. That was 3 with an Omni Slash, so the guy's just insanely tanky. And the amazing toggle there for the Omni Slash. If you toggle armlet on when burst damage is coming through, you're essentially taking only the armlet drain from it. Because you're gaining the health right away, and then it's gone anyway.
hello and allow G to pick up more farm. Again, that armlet first item pickup, and now he's going the shadow play. We don't get to see DK too often, but we bit of a traditional.
This is pretty, yeah, this is pretty standard. The deviations from this that you could see, Deso if you really need to push early, Blink if you're lacking initiation, but Shadow Blade's pretty much the standard.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's
Shadow
structures
amulet,
are
so
fortified.
almost there. He's going to be seen rotating in by the Vendetta Nyx assassin. Dragon form. Getting more support here though, so a possible fight going to be breaking out. Iron Shell applied to Dragonite. No vacuum yet for Darkseer though. That's kind of key as well. He has the wall, but doesn't have a way to kind of bring them in here.
Yeah, taking the cast range over getting the point back is very interesting.
Choices. And Tree does not hit his overgrowth again. Nexus out for living armor. Here's seems a curious decision. Gonna go the tournament. Will catch Nexus assassin. And kind of zoning out the rest. Got a coffer though in the backline. The middle
Four-man bonds.
My cat though can't really get close up to the DK. Instead he'll go for the Spear Breaker. Off to the side. Spear Breaker should be able to take down right here. And yes, he will go down that bit of bond. Again, spreading some damage.
Dendi.
Just like last game on the Storm Spirit. He wants to go in still, but actually will be glimpsed back right there. That'll be the end of it, so. Tower kill as well.
General's hunting. He wants the Slark. Not gonna find him though. I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine you risk going for that though. Slark knows if you're hunting him, because all of a sudden his Shadow Dance will go away for no reason.
Yep, there we go. Or yeah, you see him ping right there.
Yeah.
Probably the
So
next.
whenever there's not an invis hero, that ping means throw a sentry here. I'm going to be very upset with you. But against an invis, it's a lot more difficult. You never know if it's necessarily Nyx hunting you, but he can be reasonably sure. Had just pathed over that area and it didn't go away. So we're kind of seeing what happens though with the Midas pickup here on Darkseer, or on Slark, because he was totally unable to join in that fight. Knew he wasn't going to do anything super productive, and just said, I got to get Shadow Blade, guys. I can't do anything yet.
It's the downside of going that first out of Midas here. Real you. Like the DK though, about has that Shadow Blade now, so they're going to have a couple here and definitely be much more combat ready. Dragonite, which is just about finished. Blink, however, just Nyx. So yeah, speaking of his hand of Midas, really, he is definitely making use of his bottom lane though. Yeah, charging him. Here, ready to assist. Living armors have already put up though, and he's falling back. He has plenty of support nearby. Now, Tree in particular does have overgrowth. Is he in range? Yes, he is in range. So he's right there. That had to be max. And Spear Breaker, though, he's like, all right, another strike and go away. Can he get away from question? No, he fell in the boat. Not the ears kind of land, but he does a good job of it right there. Static Storm is coming them out, though. It does catch the Juggernaut. No, it catches the Tree Protector, actually, with the kinetic field. The wall's put down as well, but they're just going to walk around it, actually. Glimpse back onto Timber Saw, but it's going to be enough to save their teammates. And Felser can go again for Nyx. He opens, he misses the intel. It's nearly it's not the easiest send to land, but it's going to be enough still to take out Disruptor. And maybe be the end, unless Darkseer, well, he could still be in some trouble, actually. He's going to surge.
Should be out if he just goes straight left.
Attack.
Wow, the greedy Ion Shell?
Yeah, the Nyx slide air-based stun comes out, and now he's in trouble.
Yeah, Tree's literally hunting him, porting to a different tower, keeping his invis through the port. Can't find him though. Takes the wrong juke path. To be honest, the kill potential on him there is still pretty low. He has another surge left after this one in a full wand, but that was entertaining. I love watching people when they just have the Shadow Amulet, using it, because you can use it while you're running and don't stop until your fade time is up. So if you do that and constantly just spam move, you can drop in and out of targeting every 1 point whatever seconds. Which can be kind of funny. You can disjoint an Omni Slash is the big thing with it.
DG, he is going straight into the Silver Edge.
Interesting.
Timber Saw, is that kind of the key?
Well, okay, so the way Silver Edge works on Timber, it doesn't get rid of any reactive stacks he has, it just stops him from generating new ones. So if you go on him when he has 0, it makes him incredibly squishy. If you go on him right now when he's rolling 20, it doesn't do anything. So it's good. It does help him in the man fight against Juggalot, though, because it takes away Blade Dance.
Right here by Slark. Slark realizes this might have been important thing. No Shadow Dance is popped. Very much defensive ability he's used right here as far as Stack Storm. He gets out of the overgrowth immediately, though, due to the Dark Pact, and he will take out Juggernaut in the end. So a nice overgrowth initially, but obviously didn't matter. Part of Slark out. Scout got free use, but they're spread out pretty well. Warlock being run down and gets killed, and they'll see him up on another target, but he's going to find it, actually. Warlock Golem seems lost here. Oh, what wants to do?
Poor guy.
His owner's dead, unfortunately.
A lost puppy wandering the streets of New York.
G? No. I don't know if they're killing him, though.
It's G, yeah. I mean... And the question is going to be, when can they kill him? Because Timber does great damage to him, especially if he procs a Q next to a tree. Gets the pure damage and the strength stat loss, but... Wow, General's in trouble here. There's a gem on Slark already that was bought immediately after the Shadowblade came out.
Ooh, General's gonna live, and that's gonna be so frustrating if you're Vega Squadron here. Now, Timber's
not
going in, and has that reactive armor though. The Bloodstone 12 charges, so...
A casual Ion Shell on a creep ended up bringing Nyx down in the end.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, wow, jeez.
Yep. That was a huge charge from Seema. Stopped the Dendy mid-Timber chains. The Dendy. But yeah, ended up making it so Slark was fairly easy to get out there, and then 10 seconds later is full health. So, well played from Seema here. Definitely making some big plays on the Spirit Breaker. Just being this disruptive force in team fights. And I gotta say, this Timber pick has felt very, very underwhelming. For being a last pick and kind of your counter to their lineup, he just hasn't had any pop.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, 1, 2, and 1, that kind of reflects it right there, right? You know, it maybe we're thinking too much about how he did last game on the Storer Spirit and how he just took over, but it's a fair point to make that Timbersaw as a hero hasn't necessarily been the biggest threat, it feels. Sure, in the laning phase, he definitely did very well, but even with that, you know, he did die earlier on. Bit of a surprise. Nearly as strong of a game this time around from being the Timbersaw, and definitely hurting Navi's chances here as Juggernaut, again, Pycat, he is, once again, just like last game, doing pretty well. He's got them throwing net worth, but going up against the DK and the Slark, who are both doing that much better. And Slark also finished his own Silver Edge here.
Yeah, that came out quick. I'm loving what Pycat has in quick fight here. Maelstrom on Jug has been long forgotten, and it's still the best damage item you can get in the game, and it, as far as the amount you spend on it. And it's going to be absolutely crucial in trying to eventually bring this DK down. And so well with everything they do. Eventually, when the Maelstrom comes out, Ion Shell is going to be proccing it, Thunderstrike, Dark Pact. There's so many ways that it's going to just do a ton of damage. If they get there. I mean, at this point, Vega might not let them. Vega's being very, very oppressive in their approach.
3 heroes down at the bottom lane, trying to get this tower. There goes the other Dragon Form. 2 currently, so... Enhanced here. Boarded on, actually.
Oh, does he get it?
Somebody got glimpsed back.
Look at Dendy! Woo!
Yeah, he flies in right here, but looking to make a play and run them down, actually. Tree Protect here doesn't have Dynamite to get disrupted, though. He is going to be chased down. And it comes out from Vega, but now here's the real you. Slark coming to the party. Spirit Breaker also joins. And they're going to take out Dendy on that Timbersaw General. Blink Dagger away.
I don't even care. Dendy hit the Glimpse chains. That's just too fun.
So that's what that, so it was the glimpse back in the
Yeah, so everyone knows the fountain hooking thing, right? You know, your Pudge, you get sent back by your Chen, you hook someone at the right time and they come all the way back to fountain with you. That has now been fixed. That interaction is not yet though. Ooh, Darkseer in trouble?
Yeah, Darkseer. He is going to be passed through and off the mech even. He really wants to live. We saw him earlier. He made an escape.
Yeah, he's out.
Coming back up in a second. Yeah, he should be
2 seconds till blink. It's got to be a blink impale.
Can they land it though? The vacuum goes off right there, clearing the trees, giving them anything.
Nice.
It's not going to matter.
That's a really hard impale to hit from General. I mean, I gotta say, General actually waited an extra second on the blink till he had Carapace up, in hopes that Darkseer had Ion Shelled himself, just to get a blink Carapace and actually get an easier stun. But that's a big pickup in slowing momentum here. Navi needed something. They've been struggling to find anything good in these team fights. Last one was a token Disruptor kill, and in return you lost Dendy +1.
lane. Push the tier 1 tower in, but like Vega Squadron wants to give this up necessarily, but they're not going to be able to defend in time. They are nearby. Expect the secondary tower.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Navi wants to continue to go with this. They're going to find Disruptor off to the side. General scouts him out.
Yeah, lays the sentry down as well. Navi really either needs to get a gem of their own or they need to get this one off Slark. Like, it's worth ultimates at this point. It's worth committing everything. You desperately need vision control back so that your Nyx has some room to move and you can get some of these deep wards off the map. Look at Vega's warding right now. It's the entire Radiant Symbol.
Running out in the middle lane even. We're throwing it there, so bottom side of the map is being controlled pretty heavily by Vega Squadron. You look at Navi's vision, really past the river here. Split push continues to be very solid by Vega Squadron as well. They sparked the top lane, you got DK bottom, both with the silver edge, so great mobility.
Yeah.
Taking advantage.
And if you're Navi now, the question is, how do you find an opening? How do you find something? And it's all of their catch really is in ultimates. It's in Overgrowth and Chaotic Offering, and to commit those on 1 or 2 heroes is really hard. So I mean, finding Silent here would be huge, but it might just get turned around on them. General's being charged, Static Storm.
They popped that spike carapace and they actually 4-staffed out.
MVP 4-step. He just picked it up too. Like, he has no gold. That was the most recent pickup from him. He's been working towards it for a while, and that's a huge payoff. Get that Spirit Breaker image.
I just love DK too. You know, he's pushing the bottom tower during that. He gets it pretty low. The Living Armor's Blast gonna kill him. But the point is, he pops his own Dragon Form, and actually, he's gonna, yeah, Dendy's in trouble. Dendy's gonna fall right here even. Got the assistance from Darkseer at the end, so I'm talking about his tower push, but yeah, that Dragon Tail, 3.25 second stun.
Yeah, and he came out with the Silver Edge too, so there weren't any reactive stacks on Dendy yet, making him incredibly squishy. There's no other armor item on Dendy yet, so he only has 4 armor. That's very low for 27 minutes into the game.
But the fact that he wasn't intimidated by the TPs coming in, he just still kind of stood there, and then eventually he's like, alright, I'll Silver Edge away. And reset, and obviously we saw the end result right there. So, very good play across the board by G. Dragonite, and you know, this pick is definitely proving to be a very good one this game.
Yeah. I think it's extremely strong in the meta. It's just the laning phase for ADK is so boring. You know nothing's really going to happen.
Ace Rune, bottled up by Dragonite. Still a chance he wouldn't have his ulti.
Navi needs to find something that doesn't require Pycat to be there. That's really hard to ask of them right now, but he needs time. He needs to get to this Mjolnir. Ooh, they committed a lot.
Offering in response, so they better at least get the Spirit Breaker. They like to get DK, but I don't think that's happening. Panic still gonna keep them away, although Timbersaw wants to go in. You gotta be a little bit careful about 2 deep here. Then we got glimpsed back though, so. I almost want to say, you know, they could have turned that actually, so looking it back almost kind of saves Timbersaw.
Maybe it would have been a hard kill, but Omnislash was down, Chaotic Offering was down. Yeah, at the very least, I don't think, best case scenario for Navi, no one dies there if Timber doesn't get glimpsed. But if you're Silent, you just want to protect your team. It's fine. You lost one, traded him for the tree. Call it good and move on. Tree opted for a Midas, like very late Midas, so I don't know what he's gonna do with it. He doesn't have the blink, and we saw how influential that was in the first game.
God, this Slark, man. BKP, yeah, it's just, this guy's just getting so much farm. Now, they're not putting him middle lane, but again, the Elder Dragon Form, he's just gonna stand his ground, nice overgrowth right here. Spirit Breaker charging in though. Dragonite is getting fairly low, but now Slark joins the party. And that's where it gets extra scary for Navi. The vacuum wall combination in the back line. Got a lot of follow-up after though. Still can't really catch anyone, and that Slark still pounds away. Mana burn on him, so he is currently out of mana now. The rest are gonna run, so a good response from Navi right there. But no kills coming out of it.
Nobody died. I feel like that's going to be the story of many of the skirmishes from here on out. There's just a lot of defensive tools on both teams, and Yeah, it's going to be hard to find the damage for many things unless, like, Warlock gets caught out.
Well, how about DK as far as scaling goes? He's going to have a BKB next, but is this a hero that you're going to be worried about on Navi's side as far as, you know, taking off later in the game?
I mean, probably slightly more than Timbersaw. Like, you always got to compare it to the matchup they're in. And while his damage doesn't seem as strong in the later game, he ends up just being borderline unkillable, so he'll just BKB right-click your towers and they'll fall down. He's a great sieger, which is what they really need, because Slark is not very good at hitting buildings.
Down here, but they'll really be able to command without the cores. Teammate wants to keep them nearby because said cores are coming. Slark, in fact, be the first one here. Sadeko trying to run. Overgrowth is thinking about it. He's like, can I use it? Be a waste at that point.
Yeah, and Slark with a brand new BKB too. He's in good shape to fight. Good job holding the Overgrowth there, but this is looking a little rough for Navi. Pycat is still farming up well. Full Mjolnir done. That's a lot of damage if he can stick to somebody.
Hackenight just running in. I mean, he was seen initially by the sentry, but he's a man over, he's still trying to build up a little bit again. He just feels so comfortable right now.
Whoa.
That ulti for me as the BKB impel is going to go through. But Brass and just going to keep this going. Not. That level 3 Elder Dragon Form now is Vincere right there.
There they go.
That's a good big kill off the bat. Actually, no, he gets the Static Storm off though with the vacuum wall combo on top of it. In comes the Chaotic Offering in response, but Timbersaw's dropping pretty quickly. Mjolnir on him trying to help out. It is going to be enough to actually get away with the Timber Chain, but down goes Treant Protector. And Navi again in full retreat mode. Viper going to be run down as well. Double kill for G. Both teams landing some decent ultimates there. Just can't. Vega Squadron is that much better farming. Dragon Knight especially is so bulky.
Yeah, I mean, getting the static off was definitely important there. Most of the core abilities had gotten off by Navi already, but it just put a ton of pressure on Dendi, making him back out right away. And without Dendi kind of having free reign to throw spells in, they definitely don't have the damage on Navi to take any fight right now.
Pop a Shrine. No Roshan being done just yet, but tells me that's going to be on the menu here soon, at least for Vega Squadron. Like that's going to be the
now
right
seems
now.
good.
AC is queued up for DK. 3.5. Lincoln's picked up on Clark. Those reminiscent we saw, what was it, Shadow Fiend yesterday, I want to say, in Lion Series, yeah, Lion the Limp Blade, where he went just all out in defensive line. It proved to be the great choice, but it's just kind of similar here on Clark, you know, the Lincoln, the BKB, Silver Edge, Cheryl, more offensive.
Well, he knows the sustained damage isn't there for Navi right now. Dendi's getting forced out of fight still, and he's tanky. He wins.
Locked down left and right. Overgrowth finally comes out, but this BKB of Slark he's still running after. Not going to kill just yet, but they're going to get one on Treant and probably another on Nyx. There we go. I mean, so they saved the main target in Pycat, but two supports essentially going down. And they were doing Roshan, but they're like, hey, we're at a tower. Let's go ahead and put that distracted of sorts.
Yeah.
Take it.
Like, Pycat needs, like, Butterfly, Scotty to even be relevant at this point. Going Diffusal just so he can stick to people. It's the budget version of Scotty at this stage in the game for him. He's just really struggling to be productive in these fights. And I gotta appreciate, I love the way that Vega is tempoing this game out. They got the lead on DK and they're really pushing it. It's let Slark build super defensively, get a greedy Midas, and yeah, super impressed so far with how well Vega's taken this game overall.
Force that third in what would be a final game, of course.
We want it. We want game 3.
Absolutely, especially with this being our only series with it.
Yeah, well, we can maybe talk to him, make it a best of 5, and change it up a bit.
This is a good setup. Silent. He's going to be spun on and will survive. Nope, General. Timber Cape, though, keeping him alive for the time being. Charge coming in. You got to be careful about staying too long here for Nafi. Okay, they do get the kill on Disruptor.
Yeah, Seneko got picked in mid at the same time, though.
I'll take that.
Being a 1. Now they're wrapping
Radiant's
around.
middle tower is under attack.
Vincere coming in. Flank position. They scan them out. Oh boy. gonna spin out his Pycat, so Pycat will survive. Can Nyx get away now? He just uses Blink. He's gonna be found here.
Absolutely.
Damage there. Fine there. Take a Squadron once again, and they keep this lead going. Favor 20,000 net worth.
Yeah, should be a basher up on him very shortly. May end up holding on to buyback till the Aegis is gone. Just not really a reason to spend it, but.
I also like how the real you decided to put the Hand of Midas in his inventory rather than the BKB, but I figures he's not going to use the BKB until after the Aegis anyways.
Yeah, I've noticed him kind of going back and forth on that. The Midas was in the backpack for a while, but yeah, he feels comfortable.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
That attack speed passive, and so you know if it's in your backpack, obviously the timer, the cooldown is much longer. So have that. Keep the efficiency of the Midas up.
I kind of wish Dendy went a more aggressive build. Like, went hyper defensive, Bloodstone, Hood, duels into plate mail, and I feel like something like Bloodstone, Blink, Ags maybe would have given them the damage they needed. Because right now it doesn't matter how much damage you tank on Navi's side, you've got to do enough, or you're never getting through this lineup.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They're not even going to try to fight right there. Pretty scared, especially with the Aegis on his heart.
By the way, DK's level 25 talents are one of the funnier ones. He can either double his armor and regen on Dragon Blood, so 24 HP a second, 24 armor, or he can just fly like a race car. That's 75 move speed.
This is gonna be enough though. Root comes up, with the Shadow Dance to use, and Doctor does plenty, but not enough. And Slark, fine, he does have the BKB back in his inventory.
So Navi right now is just hoping to get to the Nyx Ags, and then you just Burrow Strike Nyx now that you're pretty much down to defending your base. You have one tier 2 left, it's going to fall here eventually. And then you just Burrow Strike Nyx behind your own tower and mana burn out like crazy. If you can keep the Dire Squad out of mana, it ends up being basically just DK clicking buildings. So it eliminates a lot of the threat. So that's what they're trying to get to, is just the siege potential, where they can just stall endlessly with the Nyx Ags.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Here.
What? Wow, Pycat opted for a BKB.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
He's already struggling to find relevance with his items and do damage. Ended up going more defensive.
Yeah, as far as damage output of the team here on this Radiant side, it does feel lacking overall. You know, ideally, it kind of will help because, again, the mobility that he'll have can't be up, but
Gold for me.
sorry, the actual answer really needed here. He has that defusal not queued up. Also, follow. Sure, but Slark, he's working on a moon shard at this point.
Yeah, he's just huge. The world is his oyster right now. Completely skipping the basher even. That's how comfortable he feels.
All the talents of DK again, when we don't see him 10 straight 40 damage and 3 life, so 23, almost 24 here, so keep an eye on when he gets 25. Slark his 25 and he just gets the 12.
Timbers kind of matters. 6% Whirling Death attribute reduction is really huge in this game. It brings the Whirling Death up to 21% primary attribute loss, and for these big bulky strength heroes like the DK and Spirit Breaker can really matter.
Found up here, he's going to charge on through. Might escape actually. And let's say commit a Chaotic Offering, and he's doing that.
Endurance run.
He's going to fly on by, and he'll survive. Game avoiding one another. Continue really. Aegis again has been reclaimed by now, so Clark, though he has the moon shard, actually it is in. Dasher next in line. They catch Natus up from the bottom lane. Meanwhile, and he's gonna die pretty quickly. Stained it for 50 seconds. PB is gonna be canceled as Clark turned his attention to it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
That was a
attack.
juggernaut, wasn't it? He still has it.
Radiant's turret
Yeah, this
They're
is
gonna
like
push
a...
it.
So,
Out.
no overgrowth, no Nyx stun. This is rough. Demi is so dead.
Unfortunately, he does have a buyback, so he's immediately Chaotic Offering coming out on his side. damage needed with that PKP up, but again, it just doesn't matter. Still the lockdown comes through from Team of the Slayer, and down goes Juggernaut. He has the buyback, choosing not to use it yet. He finally will now, is realizing, yeah, I can't give up two sets of
Radiant's middle
right
tower
here.
is under attack.
First one going down, though, but this Elder Dragon still got a bit left on it.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They'll take the tier 3 middle and fall back from there. They got the buybacks they were looking for. Going right back into the Juggernaut and even it's been away.
Why not? He has plus 72 agility right now in Slark. He's hitting like a truck.
Yeah, that is adding up. That's true. If you're Vega,
Our general's dead.
you want to go back in for a turn
That's
now,
good.
so they can pick off right to the vacuum coming out, pulling back in there. Well, Priest is going to feel the worst end of that as he goes down, but I feel like that's the game too. We're going to game 3. I don't think that'll be somehow can do a miracle hold right here.
I feel like the real use hit so many people in this fight. He's at 36 shift stacks. I'm just wondering how that guy in the Kiev game got to 83. Like, yeah, it was a troll and a Slark just beating on each other in a Roche pit for like 40 seconds, and no one else touching them. Slark ended up barely creeping out the win, and then just basically thrown them off of it because he was doing so much damage.
Official Vega Squadron well taken into 2. We are going to a third and final game. As spectators, obviously, we can appreciate that. So, we're to a fun finish right here. But I'm with you. As far as like you kind of compare the games, as far as a more impressive victory, I think Vega Squadron had the more impressive victory.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they outdrafted. This draft was a crushing